Hey everybody, I'm coming to you from my car to talk about environmentality. Yesterday was Earth Day, which, you know, is really every day, but I love Earth Day because I do feel like it's a day that people feel a calling and a responsibility, and like people are ready to make a commitment. It's at the forefront of everybody's mind, so I do feel like it's a really great day to kind of implement behavior changes and raise awareness and maybe make a long-term difference. First of all, I just want to get out of the way that I do not consider this a political issue. This is obviously something that affects everybody, regardless of what you believe or don't believe or what side of the aisle you're on. You know, if you don't believe in climate change per se, I mean, you have a right to that opinion. There are plenty of scientists that have done a lot of research on it. And I do think it's kind of like taking a bit of a risk to gamble and say, well, maybe they're wrong. I mean, I guess technically, you know, it is theoretical. So if you want to take that chance of like, well, there's a small possibility that all these scientists are wrong, like, fine, you know, to each their own. However, what I don't think can be denied is that there is tons of plastic in the oceans. Microplastics are getting into the food that we eat. There are, you know, marine life and animals that are dying. There are huge swaths of rainforest being cut down, you know, for logging or whatever industries, and that's, you know, causing extinctions, and we're losing, you know, trees, which are very important to the soil and to the air. Like, there's garbage everywhere because, you know, some of the countries that used to purchase all of our recycling and our garbage are not doing that anymore, so there's nowhere for it to go, so it's literally piling up. So climate change aside, if you have eyes, you can't deny that there is like a lot of problems with our environment, and we're doing it ourselves. So with that being said, what I really want to talk about is yesterday was Earth Day, and you know, a lot of people feel really inspired to make a difference, and that's great. But then I also noticed that there isn't really a lot of change on a day-to-day basis in behaviors. You know, a big one is like seeing the tons and tons and tons of plastic bags that get used from the grocery all the time. From, you know, and I'm guilty as well. Like, I have reusable bags and I use them regularly, but you know, even just the other day, we made a quick stop at Walmart. We hadn't planned on going, so I did not have my reusable bags, and they don't have paper bags there, and I even asked if we could purchase reusable bags, and they don't sell them, which is crazy. Get on that Walmart. So I actually felt ashamed because I had to use plastic bags, and I stuffed 2 plastic bags full of as much stuff as I could, and then we carried stuff too, so we didn't have to use more plastic bags. But I think at this point, just like using reusable bags is not necessarily something I think that we should be giving ourselves like pats on the backs for. I feel like that should just be a given. Like, we need to be using reusable bags. We need to not be using single-use plastic at a minimum. Like, at this point, I think we kind of need to be pushing ourselves a little bit harder to do a little bit more. Like, it's more than just the awareness at this point. It needs to be like true action. So some of the things that I have been like slowly adopting over time, and again, I'm not perfect, and there are things that I do sometimes out of convenience. I've bought plastic bottles of water before because I'm out and about and I am not carrying my reusable bottle on me. Like, so none of this is judgmental, obviously, but it is like a little bit of a push because I want us to all care more about our planet more than just one day a year. So it's a given now, like, no plastic straws, no plastic bags, for dear heaven's sake, no plastic water bottles if you can help it, because none of that stuff gets recycled. It just sits and breaks down and gets into our food, and it's horrible. We have reduced our meat intake. We barely eat meat. If we do, we try to make it organic. We try to make it farm to table. I know not everybody can necessarily afford to eat organic, which is another thing in itself. It should be something I think everybody should have access to. If you can, support organic farmers and local farmers instead of like the huge farms that don't necessarily do the best things for the environment. We did get solar So if you live in Florida, solar is an amazing option. And I can do a whole other video on just getting solar panels installed, but I'll tell you briefly, it cost us $0, $0 to do everything. They did all the permitting, they installed it, it was so easy. Like, we just had to sign and they took care of everything. Our bill is now a consistent bill. We're not paying any more than we did for electric, and in the long run, it's gonna save us money, and it saves a ton of energy. So if you are in Florida and if you want, I can talk to you about solar. I can give you my contact, who was wonderful, and you can see that if your house is eligible for it, and you get a tax credit, and it's amazing. So going solar is awesome. And there's more laws being passed to make it easier to get solar. So there was actually an amendment proposed a few years ago that we voted for, even though the electric company put a lot of stuff out there to try to get people to vote against it, because it was worded very strangely, but it passed, and that's why in Florida now it's so easy and inexpensive to get solar, and it's way better. So also being a proponent and making sure you understand what's on when it's time to vote, like what those amendments are, can also be really helpful from a policy perspective. We've also replaced a lot of single-use stuff in our kitchen and our home. We do not purchase napkins or paper towels anymore. We have one emergency thing of paper towels, like in case you have like a crazy spill, but even still you wouldn't really need those. Like we use towels, like regular reusable towels and cloth napkins, and then we just wash them so we don't have to throw away extra paper. We had a party the other night, and our first reaction was, oh, let's get paper plates and cups, because that's easier. But we were like, or we could just give them regular plates and glasses and then just put them in the dishwasher. It's like the same thing as putting in the garbage, only it's not creating more waste. So just trying to like move the mindset away from single-use products. Sponges, not only are they disgusting, because honestly we never washed those things or got rid of them as often as we should, but they're also made of plastics that are not recyclable. So again, we just use a washcloth because it does the same job and it's reusable. Those are just like simple ways to really offset your carbon footprint and reduce waste. I of course travel a lot, and long haul flights I know are not the best for the environment. So the best thing would be to not take long haul flights, but sometimes it's not feasible, and I do love traveling, but what I do is I contribute and donate to carbon offsetting projects, reforestation projects, people planting trees. So I try to give back money that's going to support especially grassroots environmental causes. Sustainable purchases. This one is a little more difficult because one, you have to really vet the companies you purchase from, and it can be expensive. So I understand not everybody can do this, which is why it'd be great if there was a little bit more policy in place on companies for how they create their products. I have been trying to make some purchases from companies that I know create their products sustainably. So one great example is Rothy's. They make shoes, like really cute ballet flats, pointed ballet flats, and their shoes are super, super cute, and they're made from recycled water bottles. So instead of putting those water bottles in a landfill, they've diverted them and created adorable shoes. Now the shoes are $125, so they're not cheap. However, they are washable. They're super comfortable. I wore them around Europe. I didn't get blisters, and they were awesome, and they're adorable, and I do plan on buying more pairs when I need more. But I feel good about them because I know, and they've outlined how they create them using less water, diverting, of course, the plastic bottles. There are a lot of companies. The Reformation's another company I love for clothes. Again, it's expensive, so I try to buy things on sale there when I can. But again, I'm not perfect. I do buy things that I'm sure are not 100% sustainable. Like cotton clothes. Cotton is a not very sustainable crop. It takes a lot of water. But again, it's almost impossible to avoid getting those things because that's what's available to us. So the best advice I can give for that is I try to avoid what's called fast fashion. So all those super, super cheap clothes that are going to fall apart after 2 uses, or like you're just give away because you don't like it after wearing once. There's such a flood of used clothes. It's not even like necessarily the best donating them because there's so many of them that it's just junk at this point. It's complete waste. And so I try to invest in classic pieces that are, yes, a bit more money, but they're not going to fall apart, and I'm going to love them, and I'm going to take better care of them because I paid more money, and I'm going to wear them for a long time. Those are just some of the things I'm doing, and it's taken me like many years. I used to not even recycle, y'all, because I was too lazy to get a different bin to recycle. yeah, it's not, I'm not proud of it, but I'm just saying that, like, I'm not here to preach. It's taken me a long time to kind of make these little changes over time, but I believe in them, and I hope that maybe others might be inspired to make one or two changes, because all of us working together can really make a difference. And in the meantime, I'm hoping, you know, while we're working from the ground up to make a difference, that there is some work that comes from the top policymakers down. And that's why, to me, it's really important to kind of get involved in local elections and making sure that that's a priority for some of our policymakers. Again, not to make it political, I don't think environment should be a political thing at all, because we all live on this planet. We all have a responsibility to it. You know, I care about all of humanity and how, you know, our future generations will live regardless of who they are or what they believe. So for me, this is a personal issue. This is something that I truly believe in. And I've seen a lot of this world, and it's beautiful and amazing. And there are parts of it that are covered in garbage. There's parts of it that are dying. And it just makes me really sad. And I want this place to be just as beautiful for our kids and future generations. So that's why, to me, it was important to do this very long video. It's something I believe in. So I feel like, I hope I don't offend anybody by being passionate about it. That's not my intention. I'm not judging anybody. I don't think I'm better than anybody at all, because goodness knows I do a lot of things that probably aren't the best. And I just want us all to work together. And I know someone else provided me with some very concrete things to do, and it took other people kind of inspiring me. And so I want to pass that gift along, and hopefully help other people feel like they can do the same. So if you have any suggestions of things you do, I'm always looking for new ways that I can be a better steward for our planet. And I would just love to keep on learning and keep on fighting the good fight for this beautiful place we call home. So with that being said, I am at work. Thanks for listening to this super long video, and leave any comments if you have suggestions below. Y'all are the best. I love you, and have a great day. Happy Earth Day. Bye.